And welcome back, everyone. Now we have Peninsula Energy Limited. It trades on the OTCQB under the symbol PENMF and on the ASX under the symbol PEN. It's a uranium company providing U.S. production and direct market exposure. Please welcome Managing Director, CEO, and Director, Wayne Heili. Nice to see you again, Wayne.
Hi, Anna. Nice to see you as well, and thank you for hosting this session.
Wonderful. The floor is yours. Call me back when you're ready for questions.
Very good. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining in today. Pleased to share with you progress of Peninsula Energy in developing its world-class asset, the Lance ISR project. Located in the Tier 1 jurisdiction, the state of Wyoming, we're developing a uranium project and preparing it for restart. These are exciting days for Peninsula Energy, and I'd love to walk you through briefly our story and what's happening and what you can expect from Peninsula in the course of this year, which is a tremendous emerging growth story. Before I get started, I just want to share with you the important disclosures and disclaimers. In a time like this, while we're under construction and anticipating a lot of things, I will use forward-looking statements. I caution you against reliance upon my forward-looking statements, but I want you to know that I'll honestly give you my best assessment of how things are today. This disclosure statement is available to you on our company website, which is www.pel.net.au. So if you have an opportunity to go and review that, I appreciate it. Really today, the Lance projects are our focus. It's a world-class, scalable, near-term uranium production asset in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, the state of Wyoming. We're active, very active. We have many workers right now, construction contractors and other preparing our plant and well fields for commissioning late in 2024. We're an in-situ recovery uranium operation, which means we use well fields and pump solutions into those well fields. But again, we're preparing our plant facilities and well field facilities. I'll share with you a little bit about what that means. We're in a very strong financial position to conduct this work, to make sure that we're funded through construction and into operations. Our current cash balance is actually expected to fund us to the point of sustainable free cash flow, which would occur in our business plan around the third quarter of 2025. We have multiple additional avenues for growing and potential funding sources, including options which are unexercised, which could bring in as much as another $30 to $33 million from the option exercise. So our cash balance, you'll see, is very healthy and supports our business plan today. We have a very favorable uranium market dynamics. I think, the investors are aware of what a strong investment thesis uranium is today. We're a near-term producer, and that just doubles down on the opportunity for us to grow our market cap and our share price and supply uranium into a very strong, constrained, and growing market. We have multiple avenues for growth for our company beyond the restart and operation of the Lance projects. We have additional Lance area projects called the Kendrick and Barber, and we have another project with 6-7 million pounds of uranium resource called the Dagger project, which is in the neighborhood. So not going to spend a lot of time on that, but we will get to it. Today, as a corporate overview, our market cap trading on the Australian Stock Exchange, so in Australian dollars, about $334 million. Our share price at 10.5 cents. We have a capital structure where we have 3.2 billion shares out on issue, and about 337 million shares of options at 10 cents, exercisable at 10 cents, which can bring additional revenues. Our current cash balance estimated, not fully reported, so this is a soft number right now for you, but we think we have a fairly good number that we've closed the last quarter, the June quarter, at about $97 million. So a very healthy cash balance, no debt, a strong management team and board of directors, and a share price that really should be on an upward trajectory as we move into production. On the next slide, well, we're just now going to move into the Lance projects and talk about it. Again, this project is located in the northeast corner of the state of Wyoming. It's within the Powder River Basin, and this map just shows you what a strong uranium production center in Wyoming is, and the Powder River Basin, with a number of projects, including Lance. Wyoming is a self-regulated state with respect to mining and uranium mining, so we see all of our regulators in the state capital rather than in the nation's capital. It's a privilege and an honor to work in the state of Wyoming, where resource extraction is a focal point for the people, and we have very good local support for our project, along with a good regulatory framework in the state. Drilling down a little bit closer on the Lance projects, we've subdivided the Lance projects into 3 areas. The area where we're currently fully licensed to produce is called the Ross production area. That's in red on this map. The area that we'll be moving into after Ross, which is not too long from now, is called the Kendrick development area. Between the Ross and the Kendrick areas, we have over 26 million pounds of uranium resources. And then when you add the greater Barber exploration project area to the Lance projects, then you see that we have a project area that's 37 kilometers north to south and 8 kilometers wide. It's a tremendous land package where we have the mineral rights for extraction of uranium. We know there's about 32 million pounds of additional inferred resources in the Barber area that can be expanded and grown through additional resource drilling. That'll come today. Our priority is getting the project up and running. We have licensing of the Kendrick area moving forward and getting close to completion. We have Ross fully licensed for production of uranium today. Our JORC resources, all in all, are stated on this table. We have about 58 million pounds of resources across the Lance projects between Ross, Kendrick, and Barber. That makes this one of the largest uranium resources in the United States known, and certainly one of the largest developed projects ready for production. What we're doing, getting the project completely ready for production, is expanding our plant facility. Lance was built in 2015 as a production center, but it was built in a smaller capacity. We had what we call a satellite plant, where we were able to produce uranium loaded on ion exchange resins. And as you can see from this diagram, we sent those resins to a third party for toll processing. They produced the finished product, dry yellowcake. Today, and before we restart the project, we're completing the doubling of the ion exchange plant capacity to have a plant capacity of about 2 million pounds per year. And we're adding all of the services and facilities that a toll processor did for us in the past, which is the ion exchange resin elution, uranium precipitation, and product drying and packaging, so that we will be complete end producer of the finished dry yellowcake product, and we'll be able to control our destiny. Our plant is being designed around 2 million pound a year capacity. I share with you here the image of the plant design. What you see in this image on the left-hand side is about the left-hand 1/3 and the lighter shading is the existing plant facility, and the rest of it, the right-hand 2/3 is the plant that we're building. The construction is underway. We're tripling the size of the plant. Again, doubling the ion exchange capacity and then adding all the further processing so we can produce dry yellowcake. Once that plant is ready for production, we will be ready for production. We have well fields, we have other facilities ready to go. We have the existing plant ready to go, but we need to have the complete process facility so we can produce the dry yellowcake. So construction is underway at Lance. This is very exciting. I'm actually near the project site today. I've been at the project site taking new pictures and updating, but what we have in front of you is showing where the plant expansion activity is, and we have concrete being poured today. We have concrete being poured over the next several days. We're pouring over 200 yards of concrete in the coming days. What you see in the lower right-hand picture is the framing of installation of rebar. That's now ready for concrete to be poured, and we've poured and built some other auxiliary facilities. So you see that in the upper right hand, and the lower left is a picture of our existing plant facilities, and that's in a state of readiness. We could run through that today, but we don't have a home for our loaded resins, and that's what we're constructing. So today, construction activities are in full swing. We have 40 to 50 people on site building. It's very exciting times for plant construction. Procurement of major equipment is tracking schedule and on budget. And our target is to have this plant ready for production and commissioning starting in December of this year. So very exciting times. In an in-situ facility, we also have well field facilities which is where we're mining the uranium from. Our crews have been preparing. We have 10 drill rigs out on the site right now. We're building new header houses and preparing to start new mining areas. We're starting with mine unit 3, which because we previously produced out of mine units 1 and 2. We have mine units 1 and 2 and residual resources available to us to supplement production from mine unit 3. So we anticipate a really aggressive and rapid ramp up of production activities over the course of the time. That's what we're preparing for. Again, probably on site right now, well over 100 people working to get the project ready for production. Our timeline is, May when we commence the plant expansion construction. We continue in the well fields to do resource drilling and preparation of mine unit 3 and the next mine unit 4. We now have rigs moving over to that area as well as mine unit 3 is very well advanced from a well installation perspective. We have surface facilities, the header houses and installation scheduled to be complete. The first header house in mine unit 3 is scheduled to be ready in August, and we expect to commence preconditioning that well field in the third quarter of this year. September is the likely date. October maybe, if we're going to look at how the plant construction is progressing, and we'll start preconditioning the well field when the plant is indicating that it'll be ready. But we expect that to be September or early October. By the end of this year, we'll be commissioning the plant and starting our production run. We expect to be capturing uranium on resin and sequentially commissioning the new plant facilities. Second quarter of 2025, we expect to be producing enough yellow cake to make a product delivery and start receiving revenues from all of our activities. And in the third quarter of 2025, we expect production rates to be adequate to achieve a sustainable positive free cash flow from the project. So things are going to move very fast in our timeline. We have the potential then to become one of the largest U.S. uranium producers. Our ambition is to ramp the Lance project up to, at first to 2 million pounds per year. This is the production profile that we've estimated in our life of mine plan and shared with the public. It shows that we should be able to achieve a 1 to 1.5 or 1.1 million pound per year production rate in calendar year 2025. And we should bring that up to around 1.8 or so million pounds per year. The backbone of this is the 2 million pound per year plant. It takes time to develop enough well fields to fully utilize that plant capacity. We see that 1.8 million pounds out of a 2 million pound a year nameplate capacity is a good reasonable estimate. That's what we're working towards. So that's the presentation of Peninsula. Our story, our forward look towards the exciting events of 2024 and 2025 as we take the project, the Lance project, from an idle standing, complete well field and plant construction, and start commissioning the plant and running it. Again, we're very well funded for all of these activities, and we're in a great position to move and advance our stock forward. With that, Anna, if you're listening in, we can drop from the slides and go to a little question and answer. I'd love to take some questions for the balance of our time.
Perfect. Thank you, Wayne. Yes. Will you talk a little bit about the near-term resource expansion target at Ross and Kendrick? When would the company report assay results?
Yeah, well, we've continued to do a little bit of resource expansion drilling. Our priority on drilling in the first half of this year has been on developing the new well fields. But as we develop new well fields, we tend to see resource expansion. Not too long ago, we expanded the Lance resource from 53 million pounds to 58 million pounds. That was earlier this year. So we added 5 million pounds of estimated resource to the Lance project already this year. And that's a 10% increase in the resources if you look at it just straight up. We're also looking at, before the end of this year, putting some drill rigs over on the Dagger project where today we characterize our resources, the 7 million pounds as inferred. We need to do some confirmatory drilling, and we think we can take that inferred resource up to a better quality resource, probably measured or indicated. And we also expect that we'll be able to increase the resources with that extra drilling. So in short, we'll be reporting on drilling results throughout the year as they come in, and as we're able to calculate them and put them into a compliant report.
Perfect. Thank you for that. A question, when are you going to revise your LOM study, and would you consider expanding production up to your licenses of 3 million pounds a year?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the life of mine study will likely be updated in the second half of this year. What we're trying to do is get the plant capital completely locked down, and again continue to work on the resource. Right now the life of mine study was last updated in August of 2023, and we still feel very good about the numbers that we have in that. We did see some increase in the plant costs, which were announced at the beginning of this year, but we're funded, and we funded for those increases. The second part of the question was, I'm sorry.
Would you consider expanding production up to your licenses of 3 million pounds a year?
Yes, thank you to the listener who asked that. We have a 3 million pound per year license, and as I presented, our ambition right now is to ramp up the project to 2 million pounds a year, which will be one of the largest in situ recovery facilities. I think only one other facility in the United States ever produced at 2 million pounds a year. Things go well. We have the entire Barber area and the Dagger area, which would provide us with satellite facilities. Our license includes the installation of satellite facilities in Barber. And with the addition of a satellite facility, which is another resin processing plant, we'd be able to increase our production capacity from the 2 million pounds to 3 million pounds a year. And we have a design feature in the plant that we're building that it'll be easy for us to add the capacity to precipitate and dry an additional 1 million pounds. We can insert another dryer facility. So that decision will come on the heels of the production ramp up, and that is what we hope to do, is continue to grow the company beyond the 2 million, and yes, to 3 million, and then beyond.
Perfect. And how much more time and money would it realistically take to bring Dagger into production?
Yeah, Dagger takes, that's going to require some licensing. The licensing of a satellite facility and mine, typically takes 2 to 3 years in the state of Wyoming. Before we even submit our license applications, we need to solidify the resource and develop a mine plan. So, Dagger is probably 5 years out on the horizon before we could commence construction, and then it would be a relatively quick construction timeline, somewhere on the course of a year, and then we'd be in production at Dagger. So that's probably 5-6 years out.
Perfect. And what would the board and management do should uranium prices overshoot beyond all-time highs maybe by next year, 2025? What's your plan?
We would accelerate our expansion. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, we have very supportive uranium prices today, and we're very excited to be putting the project into production because the market is so supportive. We have about 1/3 of our or 40% of our future production in the next 10 years under the current plan committed to contracts, which means about 60% of our production can move into spot sales and enjoy the higher market prices. Yes, if the markets increase, then that's just all the more incentive for us to gear up additional manpower and expand our projects faster, because we have the resource, we have the ability to expand it. We just, we're pacing it according to the market.
And would you consider till milling to produce in excess of 1.8 million pounds into 150 per pound as it moves up?
Toll milling would infer to me that we're processing somebody else's uranium. We have plenty of uranium to develop and do for ourselves. We think that our plant capacity is going to service us. So as we ramp up, it's not to toll mill somebody else's, because we won't actually have access to those pounds. We would just get paid for the service. I think that the expansion for us is internally. We will develop a bigger resource base and produce for ourselves.
And a question: what is the time frame to convert more inferred to proven in terms of resources?
There again, we've been ramping up the number of drill rigs that we've employed. We started the year with 3. We now have 10. We have a couple of more drill rigs committed to coming to the site in the next month or so. So as we're able to bring more drill rigs on, we have the opportunity to go out and do more than the immediate development of new well fields. That's really scheduled in the budget for this year is to do some additional drill programs, as I said, at Dagger and in the Kendrick area. The Kendrick area has some inferred resources that we want to upgrade. The experience that we have there will be applied, and the thought process will be applied to other areas. But we need to do some confirmatory drilling again at both Dagger and in Barber before we can upgrade those resources. But tremendous opportunities and resource potential. Our focal point today is getting the project into production. Our focal point will shift as we get the project into production towards future expansions of our resources.
And so when you say you're funded through cash flow positive, does that include the full development to production?
Yeah, in previous presentations we've shared, it's the construction of the plant, it's the capital of the well field development until the point of starting operations, and then it's the sustaining capital, the money that we invest in new well field development, and the operational costs to get the project up and running and producing and get sellable product to the market. So when we say funded to free cash flow positive, that means we're producing enough sellable product. We're a commercial operation that is generating enough revenue to pay its continued activities and return some money for reinvestment in the company.
And can you discuss a product shortage in terms of once you are in production, is all the product sold already?
As I had discussed, I shared with you the production plan, which had us producing about 1.1 million pounds in 2025. Our 2025 contractual obligations are about 40% of that. Really over the life of the next 10 years, about 40% of our planned production is committed to contracts, and about 60% is available for on-market sales.
And talk a little bit more about the new facilities. What production levels will you be able to achieve with them?
Right. Again, our expectation is that this plant will be able to be ramped up to about 2 million pounds per year. We're building all the facilities with that in mind. We're building design features into it so that we can expand the plant to 3 million pounds a year very easily in the future. That plant expansion will go inside the existing building, so it'll be a relatively quick and easy plant expansion. But we want to get up and running. We always say we got to learn to walk before we run, and learning to walk means taking the project from the idle status that it is today to get to 1 million pounds next year, and up closer to 2 million pounds a year before the end of the decade. Then we'll take it further.
All right, Wayne. Well, thank you for this presentation and great update. Do you have any closing remarks for our viewers today?
Well, I think that I want to thank the investors who've participated in Peninsula Energy's shares in the past. I want to encourage people to take a closer look at Peninsula today. We've had a lot of challenges in our past. Today, we see a bright future. We see things moving very well forward. The plant and the project team is excited. It's growing. We've added employees. We've gone from 35 to over 50 now, and we're moving towards 60 employees. We've gone from probably a dozen contract employees on the site to now having a construction team of over 40 to 50 and contract drillers of close to 40 people. So, we're employing a lot of people in the state of Wyoming, contributing to the economy as we prepare. And, our future is bright. This company is gearing to go, so it's worth a look. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Wayne. We look forward to seeing you again in the near future.
Thanks, Anna.
All right, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back with U.S. Energy Corp.